Christian Worldview in a post-Christian America. I got a show tonight, a really cool show, kind of a last-minute thing I put together on coronavirus and the conspiracy surrounding the coronavirus. And I have my friend Jeremy Decker, who was on the show before, 6 months ago maybe, and we did, I forget what we talked about, communism?
No, the possibility of a second Civil War.
Oh, yeah, Civil War II, the Civil War II episode. It was like 2.5 hours. We're not going to do that to you tonight, and it was a lot of fun. So Jeremy's a great guy. He's a character, and he's a funny guy. He's a New Yorker, and he's also a guy that puts a lot of thought into the things we're going to talk about tonight. So it's a serious topic, but it's going to be a little bit lighthearted as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. But first, the intro music. Hello, God bless, and welcome. I'm Kevin Haggerty, and this is the Godlogic Project.
Shut up, Kevin.
That's right. I'm Kevin Haggerty. That's Mike Houston telling me to shut up like he does every week. Not in the studio, but via the Zoom app. Jeremy Decker, introduce yourself to the world, buddy.
What's going on, folks? Just living this lockdown life.
Yeah.
You know?
How's the quarantine treating you? Has it been tough?
Well, I've been social distancing for years, so.
Well, I told you off the air, I don't like any changes to my schedule. I'm a creature of habit. While blessed with stunning good looks, I'm not very bright, so I do not like things to change or I have to improvise. So it is, I'll be looking forward to this being over, like a lot of people, not just in America, but around the world. And kind of the coronavirus, or COVID-19 pandemic is what we're going to talk about tonight. And we're going to talk about it from a little bit of a conspiratorial and lighthearted at times. I'm sure we'll be serious, sometimes lighthearted as we tend to be. But there's a lot of conspiracies floating around surrounding the COVID virus, the pandemic. And to me, I look at it, and the first thing I think is, or what I've been thinking from the beginning is, this is a strange reaction to a pandemic that hasn't been as bad as other pandemics in the world. So it seems like they know stuff we don't know. And at the end of the day, if they do, they're not saying. But it seems like nobody knows for sure what the heck's going on, including our leaders, and they're kind of winging it. What really shocks me, and I want you to speak into this a little bit, what really shocks me is how in the world can something like a pandemic, where you would think, all right, now in a pandemic like this where tens of thousands of people are dying, we'll come together as a country and find a solution. I'm stunned at how quickly this became a political issue. How do you think that happened, bro? That's crazy to me.
Because of the atmosphere we were already in.
Yeah.
And the pointing fingers, the right-left paradigm of the gang situation that we've been facing for the last decade of bloodykins and cryptocrats.
Yeah.
If the Republicans are trying to pass something, the Democrats are trying to defeat it, and vice versa. There's no. It's long past anything to do with the good of the people. It's what pocket's going to get lined from what bill is being passed.
Yeah. So
by which side?
So the Republicans, or traditional Republicans, or traditional conservatives at least, are generally fiscally conservative, but they just wrote a stimulus bill for $2.2 trillion that it seems we don't have, right? So they pumped 2.2.
And those numbers even still askew, because you have reports of 2, 4, up to 8 trillion that are allotted for this, plus other bills that are being, like, we had the $250 billion bill just last week that was shot down by, I think it was the Senate, to help small businesses.
It is,
even in the stimulus bill, there's $1,200 check everybody's waiting for.
Yeah.
Or gotten or gonna get, whatever. That's most people's rent.
Yeah, that's no help at all when you think about it. And the thing is,
1 month rent.
People are asking me, do you have to pay that back? Is it going to come out of my taxes at the end of the year? And I believe the answer, yeah.
Fuck yeah, eventually.
Eventually it'll have to, because that money has to come from somewhere. We can expect.
Where did it come from to begin with?
Yeah, they just printed it and handed it out. So they essentially borrowed money from ourselves, and we're going to have to collect money from ourselves to pay it off. So it's not like that's free money.
What the number is, what was it? In the past month, it's upwards towards a $10 trillion surplus deficit.
Deficit, yeah. And it is
a surplus deficit that we're looking at for all these things, that all these, unemployment, or whether it be benefits, or this stimulus check, or this, grants and things going on for small business. They're still going to be crushed. Yeah. Everyone that I know that owns a bar, restaurant, spa, salon,
any kind of service industry, they're
small business wise.
Yeah, they're done, and they're talking about something like 30% of restaurants will not reopen after this, and bars and restaurants, because they won't be able to afford this.
How can they?
They're talking about 20 or 30%.
The majority of restaurant and bar owners don't even own the property. They
oh yeah, and
they don't own the property. They own the rights to the bar, or the restaurant. They don't own the property that they're paying rent. So now to continue their business in those places in these months and months, because I'm telling you, this shit is so far from any form of.
It's not going to be like it was for a long time, and they're so around that. People are suffering, right? And I'm as a pastor, I take a lot of phone calls. I'm also a recovery guy, right? So I'm a recovery pastor. So I'm taking a lot of phone calls from people that are going back out after 2, 3, 4 years. Family members that are going back out and ODing and died, and people are calling me about that.
Ready to do this shit here, right here.
I'm in kind of the chat rooms or the Facebook pages, and I see these folks. They're already, how has it been, a month? Not even a month yet, right? And they're already unraveling, and some of these people are brand new in recovery. The idea of not being around, not having human contact is almost unthinkable. So the cost of prolonging this event, people are saying, it could be astronomical in terms of things like addiction relapse or even suicide, man. And I'm already seeing it, and it just started.
We're looking into the new depression era, but not just this country.
Yeah.
We're looking at a worldwide depression era scenario.
And it
where
is
motherfuckers are jumping out of tall buildings, and the suicide rate, like, you put people that already are dealing with mental issues,
put them in this kind of put them in this kind of isolation,
depression, anxiety, all that.
Yeah.
You put people with those things in seclusion. What do you think's gonna like? There was an article the other day. Forbes wrote on how Americans are overeating, drinking to excess, doing drugs, playing video games, and sleeping too much.
Yeah.
What did you think
was good? How are you going to pass the time? And dude, we're in the first month. It's been about a month since this started, maybe.
One month.
So you look at
this shit is so far from being even close to, when you get on a roller coaster ride and you get in the cart and you come out of the house and you start going up the thing. Start going up the rail. We're like here in the rail. We're far from this. And we're far from that people.
They haven't even begun to at least speak publicly about what's going to come. In a matter of months, we're going to be, I say they're going to have us wearing masks. They're going to have us taking our temperature. They're going to come up with some quick test. But the that's fine, and that's the initial impact
In
of this thing.
Philadelphia last week, they ripped the dude off the bus. This
For not having a mask on.
Ripping the dude off the bus for not wearing a mask.
Yeah, yeah. And so here's what I see. I see that it's already
California's arresting people for things, going out to the beach. Florida here alone.
Yeah.
What were they doing here? Okay, so I can go to Walmart and be around 1,000 people.
but you can't go to.
That's okay.
You can't go
But
walk
if I
in
go
the
to
park.
beach by my goddamn self.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be arrested.
Well, the here's what I think. Here's what I worry about.
An infringement on your civil liberties.
Well, the First Amendment calls for
not you particularly.
Yeah,
you know
but
I mean?
we have a right to assembly. Now, as a pastor with a church that hasn't, we've done our message 5 weeks in a row now over video.
Yeah.
But for us, we're a church that we don't have a payroll, so we have very little overhead. Everybody that works here has another job. So
Yeah,
what do we do?
Even in the church spirit, right? Okay, online. Okay, that's great, awesome. You can deliver the message over online.
Yeah.
But what did we? And this is me going back to my early years as a child in church. What did we really react to? We reacted to the
personal stimulation. Yeah.
The engagement of each other. You know what I mean?
Well,
you take that away, where we can't congregate. We can't. So number one, you knock out any type of real spiritual experience that you're talking.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to do over the internet. Yeah.
You know, yeah. You can't. It's a hard medium to transcribe that through.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have where anyone that is willing to stand up against this and be like, okay, because we can't believe the numbers the media is telling us.
No,
we can't believe that.
We already know that they're being very liberal with the deaths that they ascribe to coronavirus. So if you're asymptomatic and you have a heart attack and they test you and you're positive for corona, they put it down as corona, even though you died of a heart attack. Yeah. So
you die of a car accident.
Why in the world
would you die in a car wreck?
And you have and you test positive.
You're asymptomatic. It's corona. If I shoot myself in the head right now, but I'm asymptomatic, they're going to write it down as a corona death.
Yeah, so long as you test positive, they're counting it. And that lady, Dr. Brick, said it in one of those press conferences that's how they're doing it for now. Well, that's given us an artificial idea of how many people are dying from this thing.
Like, I mean, our media is telling us China's got it all under control. Everything's okay.
You got to be crazy to trust China.
Up.
Yeah.
Come on now.
You got to be out of your mind to trust.
Everything is it's all under control. All their internet use, they're given what do they call it? It's almost like a credit rating.
Yeah, social credit. Yeah,
with your social media interaction, you're given almost what the equivalent of like a credit rating.
Yeah,
whether you're good or bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So China already does that social credit thing. Like
that's what I'm saying.
If you help a little old lady across the street, they got cameras everywhere. And if you jaywalk, they don't write you a ticket. They just take $50 out of your bank account instantly, and they do it through facial recognition. Well, here's the thing. We'll talk about America and the politics of it. It seems to me that the people that are that want this thing, that are spinning this thing as in the worst possible light, and nobody wants it to be bad, I hope, but they're spinning it in the worst possible light, are the same people that are pushing socialism and globalism. And it makes me think, is that the agenda here? How in the world why in the world are we reacting like this if
what you just said, I hope nobody would want the worst case scenario.
Yeah. I think people do. It's the same.
You don't think that these pedophilic, blood-drinking, psychopath elites that engage in
all that Epstein
sacrificial
stuff
occult-like behaviors, you think they want the best for you?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think there's people that want this to be worse, but then why? What's the end game? To me, the big goal, the big push in society, and certainly in our politics in the last 12 years, up until Trump, has been globalism. And so we had a president for 8 years that kind of wanted America to break even with everybody. He wasn't like a patriot. If you hired a football coach, you'd want a coach that wanted to win every week. With Obama, I felt like he wanted to tie every week, which is a kind heart, but I don't think it's what I want somebody leading my country or my football team for that matter. So now all of a sudden...
But you really think that Obama or Trump are leading? Or do you think they're puppets?
Well, this is where you and I might part paths, and you can speak into this. I think, as weird as Trump is, and I'm not a huge Trump fan, but as fractious and divisive as this guy is, he seems to be a nationalist. He seems to have America's best interest in mind that I haven't seen in a lot of presidents before that. Now, is he being controlled by the Rothschilds or anything like that? That's where you come in.
No, I'm not even talking about the Russians, bro. Like that's just ridiculousness.
Oh, okay.
I'm just talking about a person that, for his entire public career, forget before he was president, has not only associated himself, but funded and ran with nothing but Democratic.
Yeah, he's been giving money to these guys, including Republicans, by the way, but he's in New York, so
you have to everybody.
Yeah, you have to give money to Democrats.
Make his shit a little easier to get done.
Yeah.
That's it. The same with anybody else who greases the pockets.
Bro, if he did construction in New York City, who do you think controls that industry? It's not the city, it's the mob. So he knows his way around, and he has that kind of...
This guy over here.
He has that kind of mentality, and you see it when he does these press conferences and the way he doesn't give the left or the media an inch. But here's the thing.
And listen, there's things that I see with him that are, yes, they're fucking amusing.
Yeah.
Music. But at the same time, I look at it like, yo, this is exactly what the American people deserve.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I have people
deserve in a positive way or a negative way?
I have so many people that, for the past 2 decades, that I've been talking about the things that I talk about and everything else, that have passed me off as crazy. It's real easy to say, like, oh, conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
It makes you sound... The CIA...
Yeah, it dismisses you, yeah.
Yeah, the CIA took that phrase on in the 50s. That anybody who spoke against anything, you're already... everything is diminished. Your argument is invalid. You're just stupid. You're crazy. Whatever.
Yeah.
But what you have is, over the past 20 years, that I've been involved in and thinking and looking, so many things that have come to fruition, and not only come to, but have been either proved by released documents or whatever it might be. And it's, of course, in the realm of conspiracy theories, there's a ton that are,
I find them all interesting. I enjoy looking into them, but the doesn't mean I necessarily ascribe to them. But you and I talked about this. Now, in 2012, that's 8 years ago, I used to listen in the plumbing truck. I would listen to Glenn Beck because I thought he was funny. I thought he was whacked out, but I thought he was funny. And then in 2012, we have the IRS going against Obama's political opponents with 501(c)(3)s. We have the NSA collecting our emails, and then we had Benghazi all in a year. And to me, I started listening to Glenn Beck more like a prophet.
What about all the stuff before that?
Like what?
Okay, let's start MK Ultra. All the mind control. that all falls under Operation Paperclip when we brought all the Nazi scientists.
During the Cold War after World War II?
Yeah. And you had MK Ultra that supposedly survived until the 70s. Well, come on. All subliminal messaging in Hollywood and movies, all these are all steps. These are all things. You think that shit is over. Like, it's not. Like, it's all things that lead to this.
Do you think those things happened because they were conditioning us for something like this? In other words, if they hit us all at once with something like this, it would be a different story. Now, I happen to think they're going to be less successful in America doing this nonviolently than they think. But that they get us used to these things in small increments, all of a sudden we give back, like the Patriot Act. We begin to give back our freedoms, our liberties, little by little, till all of a sudden it seems, all of a sudden it seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. Just make us safe. Just make us safe. But you have, there's reasons why there's fluoride in our water.
And what is that? I don't know. I don't even know.
Fluoride. The Nazis used fluoride to pacify the Jews.
To give them a buzz or something?
No, it makes you passive. It makes you.
Oh, okay.
It just makes you not so ready to jump.
Yeah. I got to start drinking more tap water.
If you look into the main ingredients in things like Zoloft, Paxil, all the antidepressants, one of the majority ingredients is fluoride.
Really?
Yeah.
So you could lean into the question, why do they so oversubscribe psychotropics even for kids now? They're calling every boy that doesn't act like a girl in class is called ADHD, and they put them on Ritalin or something. Yep. Is there something behind that? Does it all come together to create a mosaic of something we really should be worried about? Now, somebody like me that's only a little worried about it may be way off base,
Look at the difference between what it was to be a kid when we were kids as opposed to it is now.
Yeah. I mean,
the sorry to say, but the pussification of the society and everybody in my feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We weren't allowed to have feelings when we were kids.
and any man that stands as a man, toxic masculinity.
Yeah. What do they call it? Microaggressions and toxic masculinity, and
exactly.
I don't buy an inch of it.
With your toxic masculinity.
Yeah, you're manspeaking right now, Jeremy. How do you feel about that? You're mansplaining or man shaming or mansplaining. I think you're talking down to our female
all day. Like it is what it is.
You're talking down to our feminine our effeminate listeners, bro.
Well, sorry, sweetheart. It is what it is. Like, you need men, you need women. We have our roles. They are what they are. Like, and it's not about. It's not about. Listen, I come from a single mother.
Yeah.
Single mother. Worked 2 jobs, kept us fed. Blah blah blah. I have never wanted to be like woman belongs in a kitchen barefoot and pregnant. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Ain't about that. So don't get. Nobody needs to get that shit twisted at all. But the thing is men don't even know their place in this world.
Yeah, and it is you do if you're talking romantically or socially in dating, you've got to be very careful what you say and how you advance, because especially if you are, say you're a pastor, say you have a podcast, say you become more of a high value target, you've got to be very careful how you behave around people, because they're looking to they're looking to hurt a pastor way before they're going to hurt a plumber. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not taking away from any of the Me Too movement or anything else, these women that have been abused, but you have an over agenda-sized
believe all women kind of thing, and what about due process? Now they're okay. AOC's okay with due process for Biden, but she wasn't okay when it was not AOC, but the actress Alyssa Milano. She wasn't okay with due process when it was Kavanaugh, but now all of a sudden it's important that we have due process.
I'm ashamed to say, like, she was my first crush.
Oh, really? From Who's the Boss?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, with the overalls on.
Yeah, the '80s overalls.
My OG crush. I'm ashamed to say that. The shit that comes out of this broad's mouth.
You're a liberal. Well, we got
the other day, she was talking about how we need to stop the because of the mass consumption and buying of guns from everyone.
That we'd be better off.
It's not just the right. I mean, I've seen so many different gun store owners making videos like, y'all sons of bitches come in here.
Yeah.
Like, you want to try and give me money to make this shit go quicker? You wanted gun control? Here's your gun control. Yeah. You don't get it for 10 days. Blah, 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 blah. There's this. You got to go do that.
If you ever bought a gun, it's not an easy process to buy a gun.
That's one of the things I was joking about recently with somebody. I was like, let's hear the gun debate after all this.
Yeah.
If there is an after.
Well, luckily, Antifa isn't old enough to buy guns. The members of Antifa, they're going to have to stick with their baseball bats while I have guns, you know. But what about if you get those people armed? Think about that. They're willing to put on a mask and club somebody. I'm sure they're willing to shoot somebody from a half a block away, you know. That's some scary stuff too.
I would say a good 98% of Antifa, you can scare off with a good show.
Yeah. And that you've seen videos of that too.
They ain't ready for that. They can act tough in groups and do this, that, and the third, but as soon as you check them,
and they're not doing it in Texas and Florida, right? They do it in places where they know nobody has a gun.
In California.
And Washington and Oregon and stuff like that.
So the places where you're not going to get checked.
So let me ask you this. We're going to put up the phone number. How long have we been on? About 5 minutes. We're going to put up the phone number, Jeremy. We're going to have people call in. I have somebody commenting on Facebook, on YouTube, Blooded the Brave. That's a cool name. History is on the side of those who question the state.
That's my man.
That's your boy. And then Glenn Beck mocked Ron Paul, who is proven right and is more and more every day. And then, so he's a libertarian probably, right? Ron Paul, the dad. And then Glenn Beck pandered to the liberty movement. He mocked, which is, I don't know. I don't really follow it that close. But we're going to open the phones, and hopefully Blooded the Brave will call in, and we'll catch his call. Now, I am the engineer, by the way. Let me explain to the audience. I'm the engineer for this show, and I'm also the host. So I'm doing this and trying to keep a conversation at the same time. When we go live, when we do the phone, it's there's a little lapse. So if you call in, I'm going to take you off mute, but I'm not going to be talking to you yet because I don't have somebody in the next room answering phones. We're doing it right here while we're doing the interview. So stand by. Don't hang up. And then I'll bring you on, and you'll be live. I'll tell you you're live in the Godlogic Project, and we'll take it from there. You can give me your name or not give me your name. It's fine with me. And this is, we want to be fairly respectful. I'm not trying to just have conversations where we hurt people's feelings. I want to have some real conversations.
Not at all.
And it's
to provoke thought.
Yeah. I want people to talk about these things. And
it's open up the channels to, hey, maybe not everything we're being told is right.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you question. I think we should question everything.
Listen, you don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. It's just two guys shooting the shit.
Yeah. Who happens to have a podcast studio.
Yeah.
So we get to do it on the air.
By the way, very, very.
It's pimp, ain't it?
Sophisticated, nice one.
Well, I'm about to have, thanks to Trump, I'm about to have air conditioning at work. So remember the last time you were on, how hot it got?
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot.
We put the air on. So next time you're in the studio, if we're ever allowed in the studio again, we'll have air conditioning. That'll be nice. We'll be like Big Shots.
There's nothing about. I don't want to jump on any bandwagon. I don't want to go to, you know, the left is wrong, the right is right. None of that. I'll crush either side. I'll crush whatever. It's not about anybody's feelings.
Me too. I'm not.
Let's think about this.
And it is. Here's the problem. We've gotten into a situation where, as a society, we're told, or we were trained to what to think, but we're not really trained how to think anymore. So people watch CNN and they believe it.
Trained to how to think.
Well, because
you get trained on how to think.
Yeah, because then you people that think for themselves, like you and I, are a problem for the state. You know.
Yeah, but if you get trained how to think, you're just an automaton.
Yeah, you're a conspiracy theorist.
You're another. No, if you get trained on how to think, you're just another fucking robot, another sheep.
Well, no, that's what to think. I agree with you there. But how to think is the discipline of questioning things and using logic and reason to the things you hear, rather than just because Wolf Blitzer told me it's got to be true, because Sean Hannity told me it's got to be true.
Our education system does nothing but teach you standardized thinking.
Yeah. And people come out of college with a economics degree, and they think socialism's a good idea. Did they skip the 20th century? How in the world could they not be worried about introducing socialism to the freest nation on earth? You know, so it's
bring somebody that fled Russia, bring somebody that fled Romania, Cuba, all these other countries. Bring somebody into the conversation that fled these countries and see what they got to say, because they came to America for the American dream. And
those are the people that tend to be the most constitutional, the most patriotic, are people that have had the experience in other countries. There's two people in this country right now, Jeremy, and this is, I think, how it breaks down. There's people that think that America is basically good, and there's people that think America is basically bad. So when Obama said he was going to fundamentally transform America, that's a very vague and kind of dangerous statement. I don't think we need it to be transformed fundamentally. I think we had stuff we got to fix, but it's a little insane to say.
See, there's a difference between, is our government bad?
Yeah.
Yes. And is America, the American people, our general values, our general fucking ideas, are they and are experiencing in a whole new precedent?
Yeah.
As of now.
Yeah, the things we see now. Story. Yeah. Yeah. So that
given to them to read. There's no investigative journalism. There's none of that. No.
Oh no, and it's all opinion, and they pretend they pretend it's news, but it's all opinion. And here's the thing, what I used to do was I would watch Fox, I'd go watch CNN, I'd go watch Fox and try to figure out, which we shouldn't have to do in the first place, and go try to figure out what the actual truth is. But since the 2016 election, I stopped watching it. I mean, I got YouTube TV for $54 a month, and I might watch 5 minutes of it a day. You know, I catch up on the news, and then I stop thinking about it, because it's all opinion, and I can thank you very much. I can draw my own opinions.
I gotta say with Trump.
Hey,
again, it's not something I want to, stand behind him on, but the whole fake news movement thing, whatever the game was behind it is whatever, but the message is the same. You can't believe what's going on. They don't call it TV or radio programming for no reason.
Yeah. And I agree with Trump.
That's what it is, bro.
I agree with Trump when he says the media, my big grind is with the media.
When he says just as much a part, though.
Yeah, well,
I'm not saying him. I'm not bringing him up to glorify him in any form.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the whole fake news is something that needs to be addressed. Like
I say it's the enemy of the people, just like he gets in trouble for saying that, but I believe it. That's the linchpin. That's the problem in our country right now, is the media is in the pocket, either Fox or everybody else is in the pocket of Democrats. Fox clearly in the pocket of the Republicans. People say Fox is fair and balanced, but it's only fair and balanced if you hold it up against CNN. Otherwise, it's completely right-wing, right? So the
100%.
But it shouldn't
And
be the
what you
case.
have is you have every media group, whether it be TV, radio, music, all of it. Anything we listen to, read, or hear is being controlled by, I think it's what, 4 to 5 tops companies.
Yeah, there's only 5 companies I think that control all of our media, and then
all of it,
and then
everything.
Facebook and YouTube and Twitter are private entities, and they have to follow the culture
censoring.
of the leadership, you know.
And they're censoring.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
you know what I mean?
They're censoring. And to
I know,
be,
you know, I don't know how. For God's sake, I have no idea. I don't get jailed more than other friends of mine.
Well, I don't know either, because I'm on your Facebook, bro, and you're twisted, bro. You are twisted. I admire it.
But I have other friends that have been booted off completely. I have other friends that have done 30-day bans, this, that, and the third, and I'm like, I guess Agent Johnson really likes me. I don't know what else to think.
Well, I'm going to put you on full screen, and say something smart, because I'm going to run over and get my coffee. Hold on. Then we're going to take calls. Hold on.
Damn it! Don't put the pressure on, bro. Yeah, I mean, you have Facebook and every source of media, social media, everything, all being filtered and being utilized to preach one form of something. You can't say any type of. I know a chick that got a 7-day ban for saying tits.
Really?
Just recently.
I'm happy when my 11-year-old doesn't use that word. Never mind an adult, right?
Like, the censorship in these social media groups, and
it's scary.
We already know that, you know, Facebook is used by the CIA, used by the FBI, used by every app that we download. We are giving away all of our privacy rights.
Every time you open your screen with your face, you're giving them an updated facial recognition imprint.
Yes. Even to the point where when our phones are off, how many times do you mention something in conversation?
Oh,
Me and
yeah.
Shannon were talking about this earlier. How you mention something in conversation, not on the phone, not on social media, not on anything.
An hour later, it's an ad on your Facebook.
Next thing, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's times that I've not even said something aloud. I've never even said it aloud. And in that same day, that shit is popping up as ads.
Yeah, it is. I think, you don't want to hear something creepy. I don't know how this happened, but I got a survey from the Florida Republican Party or whatever as a fellow Republican. I've never been a Republican in my life. I was a Democrat, and now for, probably 25 years or more, I've been an independent. But because of my comments on Facebook, probably because of the way I behave, they think I'm a Republican, So or I'm a pastor, I'm ordained or whatever. Yeah. And they sent me a survey to take. I'm not as a proud member of the Republican Party, which I could see the Democrats doing it off of old rolls, but how did the Republicans come up with that idea?
Off the fucking, off the
like 1992, yeah.
Off the headstones.
Yeah, like dot matrix computer printouts and stuff. Well, we're going to open the phones up. I have AKC 7 boxer pups. The world wants everybody to be robots. That's why there's so many kids on meds. That's what worries me, and we can talk about that. That's kind of a little bit off the topic. But here's the question I wanted to pose to you. We're about halfway through.
It all falls in, bro.
Yeah, and that's what I wonder. And I don't think in those terms. But that's why I wanted to have you on the show. Besides, we have a lot of fun when we do shows together. But let me ask you this. If we have, this is what worries me, if we have a global problem, right, the pandemic, how in the world will they not come up with, say, we need a global solution? I'm not a globalist. I'm a nationalist.
That's the end game, bro.
Yeah, that's what worries me. So do you think they would collapse our economy to promote globalism and socialism and things like that? That's the thing that bothers me. It seems possible now. Where it didn't seem like
doubt about it.
10 years ago I would have dismissed myself for saying something like that. But now I think to myself, there's no end to what these people will do to gain power. And it's not about money. It's about influence, because rich people use their money to buy influence, right? So the real end game to all of this is the influence. So
it's control.
Yeah.
It's control.
And we know in socialist countries, the top 10% living pretty fat, golden toilets, and everybody else is on bread lines and eating their dog. They're starving to death, right? So if that's true, that's incredibly scary to me, man. That could possibly be our leaders conspiring, and they've talked about, even George, the father, he even talked about it's time to launch a new world order and stuff like that.
Oh, George Bush Sr., he said that multiple times in speech.
And he's one of those, is it Bilderberg or Hildeberg? What's that group? Bilderberg, and he's one of those guys. Bush has got that kind of money, right?
Yeah, because the Bilderberg group is basically run by the Rockefellers and Rothschilds.
Yeah. We talked about that before. Which
are the
bankers,
originators to the global banking system.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve. It wasn't their idea? J.P. Morgan's idea to start a Federal Reserve. Is that correct?
It had been fought numerous times. You know how, like, when they go back to, like, Lincoln and talking about the greenbacks?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, right before Lincoln was elected, I forget what the president was then, who seceded to the Federal Banking Reserve.
Right. So during the Civil War, he wanted to print extra money to pay for things, is what greenbacks were. Is that right?
And then when Lincoln was elected, he opted out of that and went to the greenback system.
Yeah.
Going back to a gold standard, silver standard, you know.
In the 70s, was it 73, 74, we got off the gold standard and went to the reserve?
1913.
Oh, was it that early?
1913.
I thought it was the beginning of the 70s. So
we signed with, our government signed with the world banking system.
Right. Yeah.
And gave them complete control of our economy.
Well,
ever since, everything that's been implemented since, the socialist ways of, whether it be your social security number is no different than your fucking jail ID number.
Yeah.
When you go, I'm prisoner A171703, there's no goddamn difference than saying, it just matters of what level of freedom you're allowed in this. We are all tax slaves. With the induction of that, the government has done nothing but borrow money off the backs of the unborn.
Yeah, they really are. They're spending money right now. Our grandkids will have to pay back. So people think their $1,200 is free. Somebody's got to pay for that sometime. So it's going to be them. It's going to be our lifetime. They're going to have to raise taxes to cover that bet. And if they pump that kind of money, we're already seeing signs of inflation in the last month. But you pump trillions of dollars into the economy. How many
trillions of dollars are they already going out? They got all the stimulus checks. You got unemployment. You got this. You got that. And then that's just the little trickle down bullshit that's going to the American public. Then you have the billions of dollar bailouts that are going to Wall Street, the banks, and everything else that's lining the pockets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's where it goes into. So now let's say a month or so from now, a month or two from now, we get this virus under control. Now you're left with the majority of the population out of work, lost their businesses, lost their homes, or losing their homes, about to lose, because they're like, oh, we'll defer the payment. We'll defer the payments. So great, awesome. So now 3-4 months from now, I have a $10,000 fucking mortgage bill, but I have no job to go back to.
Yeah, yeah. So that, and they're talking about 18 months at least of some pretty hard times ahead. So that's too is the scary part.
Least.
And if that is
about lockdown, they even said the other day, lockdown is going to be up until somewhere in the summer, if not the end of summer.
I had the wrong camera on. You weren't on the camera the whole time. The they have
shit, bro.
I think we're already seeing people demonstrating in Lansing, Michigan, but I think if they add another 30 days to this thing, you're going to see civil unrest because people are going to.
You didn't see that meme that I said? I was like, yo, if they had told you 4 months to begin with, they knew you'd be wilding.
Yeah.
So we're going to tell you 30 days at a time.
Yeah, and so they're going to add to it, and then people are going to not obey it. They're not going to abide by it like they are marginally, at least now. So here's the thing: the cops will crack down on that, and people over their civil liberties will fight back. Yeah, so we're already beginning to see that.
You already have that happen in different states where people are being arrested and being taken for being on the beach by themselves.
Yeah, I saw that.
You have couples. There was a couple I saw. Cops approached the couple. They live together. And they're telling them they need to be 6 feet apart or you're going to be arrested.
Yeah, it's like me and my son being 6 feet apart. He's around me
yo,
constantly.
we live in the same house. Yeah. Like, if he's got it, I got it. If I got it, he's got it. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing this shit already in the fucking pubescent state of what it is.
For sure, I think they've got to get our...
in another few months?
Yeah. They've got to do something to get our economy going. I predict that in a month from now, we're going to be allowed out, but we're going to have to wear masks. There's going to be...
No. You know what's going to happen? You're going to have that vaccine that's pumped in all of us. And if you don't have that vaccine, they're going to check you for it. And that vaccine very might well have the microchip shit.
Yeah, that's another thing. Talking about
and then now we're going into the mark of the beast shit.
Yeah, talking about biblical implications. If we're gonna have to monitor people's in a crazy way, Jeremy, a microchip solves a lot of the problems that people are upset about. So, financial inequality, they can if they track electronically what you buy and what you sell and how much money you have, they can easily then distribute your excess to other people, and they can track your health. Certainly, there's already companies doing that for their employees voluntarily, where they can buy something out of the vending machine with a mark of the beast. And again, they soften us.
They clock into work with it.
Yeah.
They open doors with it.
Yep. And they soften us. They soften us to the idea.
They log into the computers with it.
Yeah, that's what worries me. So they begin to soften us to the idea. Now, certainly if you're a Christian, I'm a pastor. I'm not just a Christian. I can't take the mark of the beast, right? We Christians can't do it. So that's going to become even more volatile for our country in terms of law and order and civil unrest. I don't know when the churches are going to say, some of these churches are going to say, you know what, screw you. We're assembling. We have the right to assemble. Constitutionally, you can't stop us from assembling forever. Now, people are upset about them shutting down. Well, they shut down churches, but here's my argument. And I shut down my church right away as well. But they shut down the churches, but they did the same thing to all the other businesses and all the other religions for that matter. So my problem would be if they shut down the churches, but not the mosques and the synagogues, or they shut down the mosques, churches, and synagogues, but didn't shut down the businesses. Now they're infringing on my First Amendment rights to practice my faith.
But see, you're still talking about that separatist type mentality of like, well, if it didn't happen to me, but it happened to them, or if it happened to them and it didn't happen to me, can we please, for fucking Christ's sake, stop with the separatist arguments of
hold on a second. You totally missed my point if you think that, because what I'm saying is I agree that they applied the law to everybody equally. So then it's not an infringement of our civil liberties as a faith. But as a whole, but they didn't single out any religion for that. they applied these limitations
No,
to everyone.
they did it to the entire society.
Yeah, so that makes it, to me as a pastor, Christians are mad about that and think they should be exempt from that. But for me, if they apply that law equally to everyone, I'm okay with it. If they were to just to apply it to Christians, I would have a problem with that. But ultimately, 30 days from now, I think a lot of people have a lot of problems with what's going on.
30 days. 30 days. That's what you think is gonna.
I think if people
gonna wrap up in 30 days.
No, I think if people have to do another 30 days, they're not going to handle it like they're handling it the first 30 days. I think that civil unrest is imminent in some communities.
Inevitable.
Yeah. I don't see how people won't say, you know what, screw this. And the problem is this virus, while deadly, is not the worst pandemic we've ever dealt with, and we didn't have. People are going to think we didn't have to go through this with H1N1 or any of the others. Why do we have to go through this now? And you add on to the fact that they're padding the numbers, the mortality numbers, which they admitted on TV, and people are going to become more and more skeptical, and ultimately they're going to be like, you know what, I'll do what I want, and you can't stop me. I'm protected by the Constitution, and they're kind of right.
Oh no, without a doubt. Like, you can't impede my freedom to travel. What is that? What
right to assembly? The First Amendment.
Not even right to assembly, but even freedom to travel.
I don't know. I don't know which. I don't know which specific Bill of Rights.
We're talking about a few different amendments. I'm sorry. I don't remember exactly which. Which one the freedom for travel is. But again, we're talking about first the right to assemble, and also your freedom to travel, which at this point are both being infringed upon. And there's a difference between a voluntary. This is where libertarian ideas come in, because you have the Non-Aggression Act.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where if it's voluntary, regardless of what it is, it's one thing. But when you're forced by the acts of violence,
by the threat of violence, to do things.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Then it's a different story.
Well, I had a graphic coming up on top of the phone number, why nobody called in. So I've seemed to have solved that, even though I deleted it every time I switched camera angles, it came back. So that's gone, so people can see the phone number. Maybe people call in now. We've been at this, believe it or not, 50 minutes already.
I'm not seeing it, though.
You should be able to. No, you won't see it, but the people watching on YouTube will see it. I could see it on the YouTube that I'm tracking here on my phone. So you can call in now. Sorry about that. Sometimes this computer pushes me around a little bit, and I'm a plumber, not a computer guy.
Call in, bro.
I decided to start a podcast after a 25-year plumbing career, and I barely know how to use a computer, so the learning curve has been rough, bro. I don't know what gave me the idea to do this, but it's been
You're doing all right. You're doing all right.
We get a little better at it every week, don't we? So we have the phone lines open, and so here's what do you think? What do you think? Give me like a 30-day and a 90-day projection. Where do you see ourselves 30, 60, and 90 days as a nation? What do you think the government's going to say to do, and how do you think people will respond to it?
I think this is going to be nothing but extended, because you've already had rumors of them talking about.
Hey, we got somebody calling in from New York. Hold on, bro. Hey, we got you, caller. You're live on the Godlogic Project. Hold 1 second. Let me get you turned on here real quick. Hey, caller from New York. This is Kevin. You're live on the Godlogic Project. How you doing today? Oh, wait. Hey, is this Indiana? Is somebody from Indiana calling in?
What happened in New York?
They ain't there. Looks like neither of them are there.
You're just hanging up on everybody. What happened?
Hey, can anybody hear me? Is my phone not working? Is that perhaps the problem? They're off of mute. They should be hearing us, and we should be hearing them right now. Something's wrong. So maybe we're not taking calls, bro.
All right. What's the number, bro?
727-600-5837.
68.
Say it again.
37. 727-600-5837.
I'm going to try calling in, Kev, okay?
All right, I got somebody calling again. Hold on. Hey, New York, you're live on the Godlogic Project. Can you hear us?
I hear some.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, can you hear us?
Hey, Pastor Kevin, how you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you for calling in. Hey, tell Shannon that we got the caller. So I think she's calling in too.
Okay.
Hey,
Who's this? Richie?
Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
Jeremy.
What are you doing, bro? Chime in, bro. What do you think? What's going on?
You know what? I left for a second. I jumped back in. I wanted to tackle more about, you guys were talking about the shots, because there's been a lot of talk about how they were doing this, you know, like they're going to force the inoculations on our kids just to get them to come back into the schools.
Right.
So I heard you guys talking about it for a second. So
Yeah, and that's they already do that. So what do you think about that? What's your name? Is your name Richie?
yeah, my name is Rich Turner. I'm a cousin of Jeremy's. I'm from New York.
Oh, okay. Another New Yorker. That's what we need. A whole room full of New Yorkers here.
Yeah, listen. I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
Kevin, I'm gonna tell you.
Richie, he's a good guy. He's from New York too.
Listen, you didn't like me. I'm a good fella. You
Hey,
didn't like me. It's okay.
you guys got a funny accent though. I can't even understand a word you say. Forget about it.
Kevin, you sound like you're goggling nails on my end. No lie.
So anyway, what do you think, Rich?
Well, I'm a little upset. Listen, I share the same views as Jeremy very strongly. You know, we were tight knit. You know, 1% of community here, and you know, I got a problem where I have a community telling me that my kid has to have a flu shot, or any sort of shot, before they could enter a school system at all. I mean, listen, when the flu shots first came out, people were stepping over each other to get them, especially elderly.
Yeah.
And as time progressed, now all of a sudden, they're giving them out for free. I'm a little weary about the government, handing me anything for free. Like when I walk into my local ShopRite or Walmart or whatever, and I literally have the greeters going, hey pal, you look like you need a flu shot this year.
Yeah.
And I'm like no, I'm good, but thank you. I value, I don't want to be tracked.
Well, my doctor asked me today. I just lied and said I already got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works all good, fellas. And so we got to go to the store and everything else with it.
I don't have that microchip piece of paper or whatever letting me buy stuff if I don't have it.
Yeah, like I was laughing. I was like what Jeremy said earlier. I was like, don't worry, Agent Smith knows us very well.
Yeah. I don't know how this guy gets by on social media. By the way, Rich.
You should see my page. We usually steal each other's memes.
I know. I'm a pastor and I steal some of his memes.
And I steal some of yours too. All right.
Well, Kevin, it is. Listen, especially in these times, man. If you can't laugh, what's the sense?
Yeah,
you got to laugh.
I think we take ourselves way too seriously, anyway. So I take my faith serious. I just don't take myself seriously.
Yeah. Well, and again, just to touch on what you guys were saying earlier, the communication has gotten so bad that unfortunately, when a message does have to get out of great importance, nobody's gonna know who to listen to.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part. I mean, and it's really troublesome. Like, it's beyond fake news at this point. It's all scripted media. Like, everybody gets handed the same script, and they just add a little here and a little there, per state. And personally, it's not even Democrat or Republican in New York anymore. Like, everybody's just sick of it. Like, no one wants to talk about it. Like, no one freaking cares. Like, me personally, yeah, Donald Trump, everybody's bad on him. But I'm like, listen, I hired the guy to do a job. Is he doing his job? Cool. I don't care about his divorces. I don't care about what he's doing.
Yeah.
Him and Russia can play golf. Cool. We got less on gas. Terrific. Is he moderately taking care of what's going on? Awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it's just getting out of hand. Like, we just got to shrink the government, and that's where I'm at. And I know Jeremy shares my view on
Richie,
that.
yo, we were both fucking mind blown. I was at your crib watching Trump get elected.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
You were. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was up in New York when Trump got elected, and we were both mind blown.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. And I got to tell you, I'm not a Trump fan, but the more the pounding this guy has taken for 3 years, and he's still there. I find myself rooting for the guy. I mean,
he's not even taking a paycheck.
I just want to see the Democrats fail. I mean, I'm really rooting for the guy.
No, but again, what you're talking about is this is not the time to talk. I still see people posting memes about, oh, Trump this or, Obama that. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, who cares?
Like,
right now we got bigger problems.
Yeah, this is not the time to be coming out about who's right, who's wrong. Like, they're all wrong.
Yeah. And that's
what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, Richie, I'm going to ask you a question. I thought that something like a pandemic, and maybe I was being too optimistic or naive. I'm not a naive person, but I thought that for a minute we would cool it with the politics and focus on the problem. And
right.
Almost instantly it became a political issue, and almost instantly people are divided over their political ideologies on how they feel about reopening the economy or fighting a pandemic. That's freaking insanity, bro. I can't believe that we're having that.
Well, you know, Kevin, there's two types of people in this world. I'm literally going to drop it to the basement on you right now. You ready? You got 2-ply toilet paper people, and you got 1-ply toilet paper people. And when there's not enough toilet paper to go around, especially 2-ply, I mean, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when it comes down to an essential item, clean water, canned food, stuff that our grandparents or great-grandparents are smart enough during the Depression to be like, hey, we need to get this,
Yeah.
People are scrambling for toilet paper. It boggles my mind, Like my father always told me, he said, the majority of half the people who eat are below average intelligence, and he said times that by 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, Pop. So anyway, so I'm just saying. So, I'm just looking at how everybody's handling this, and they're just like, oh, I can't go to the bar, or I can't go to the gym, or I can't do this, I can't do that, and it's like, you literally wait till June 30th. So I mean, we'll see what's going to happen there.
Like, Rich, look at you guys are living in a fucking epicenter hotspot of this shit.
We got JFK. We got all the airports. We got where I am directly in Newburgh, New York. We got Stewart Airport. We got the West Point. We got the military base. So
the numbers are ridiculous. I just saw 2 days ago, City Newburgh's got 800 something.
Yeah, freaking 50 teachers have come down with the virus from between New York City and up here.
And the numbers in Florida, if you talk about opening the economy, the numbers in Florida are not that bad, really, considering that we're such a big state. The numbers aren't terrible, but we're also a lot more spread out than that. That's why they're not bad in California either, because everybody's spread out. Is it time?
Also in heat too.
Yeah. The heat should help.
Okay.
Of course, it hadn't been hot enough for long enough.
At the same time, Kevin, a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I went to the hospital for a virus check because I'm staying with my mother that is just getting done with cancer treatments, high risk, old age, cancer treatment,
immune system
super
down.
high risk.
Yeah.
Now, I was at a spot doing a job in Dunedin of a old folks home that had such a pandemic of flu outbreak that not even the place, but the fire and rescue and local hospital in Dunedin called the state and said, yo, there's something going on. You all need to get down there and figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Well, 2 weeks later, I'm not feeling so good. 2 weeks out of working over there, I'm not feeling too good. I got a sore throat, little, whatever else. And I went over there. It took over 2 weeks to get the results from that test.
Yeah. Now they're talking about having a 2-day. They need at least a 48-hour test, but they got a 5-day test now or something like that. But still, who's going to wait around for 5 days?
Damage I could have done so let's say I was even asymptomatic, where I wasn't showing symptoms.
Yeah.
But if I was asymptomatic and just a carrier, what I could have done in those 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I think
I could have gone, who I could have impacted.
Especially you.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Well, here's my thing too, as well. If you don't mind, if I chime in.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got like 8 different strands of the virus. Number one, and like he's saying, but they're saying that the root of it. I mean, listen, it's no secret that New York City was ground zero for this to start. I mean, like New York as a whole has a bigger pandemic going on than anywhere in the whole world. And the world's a big place. So I don't know how it was for you guys, but in New York, a lot of us, especially in like the lower, downstate, like the lower Hudson Valley region. We all got the flu at like late December, early January, and it was the same symptoms that they're talking about now. Yeah, and we were sick for like exactly 2 weeks. I mean, like just coughing our brains out, hack crisis. It was gross.
Yeah, so very possibly everybody up there already had it. That's another thing with the statistics.
Right. Well,
there's so many.
They were saying the first wave because they were saying that it mutated.
Yeah.
Because here's my thing. Don't tell me it's not biologically engineered, because if you look in your science book, any virus is killed with heat. All right, it's a fact. This thing survived the winter. And we had a pretty shitty winter up here.
Yeah.
Cold. There was this bitter cold. So they were saying that whatever military personnel was stationed over in China, just regular station, nothing crazy, that came home from the holidays. They're actually saying that the U.S. troops, because China was blaming the U.S. troops at first. They were like, no, they brought it.
Yeah.
So it's okay. So you guys exposed it to the military personnel that were there, and let them come home, and they came right through New York City up to Stewart Airport, and boom, here we are today.
Yeah, and that's the United States is such a destination for travel, international travel. Now the European Union is essentially like 18 states or whatever it is now. So the reason it hit here so hard, I think, and the reason we can't compare the United States to other countries in the world is because we're a destination for millions and millions. How many people travel to Sweden in a month? How many people travel to the United States in a month on business or pleasure? So we were. I think that one of the things I think that we can do that would be in my estimation maybe an overreaction is start spreading the population out around the country. I can see them doing something bizarre like that, forcing people to live far away from each other.
Yeah, but what you have is the numbers that China was talking about. First of all, they put a cap on anything that was allowed out of the state and allowed to be reported.
Right.
They reported that shit wasn't as bad, this and that. Then it broke out. Then it got bad. And now they're reporting that there's no more cases, That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're totally undermining the cases that actually were reported, 100%. Because you're just talking about a civilian. Like our media is overexploiting the cases. Right.
Yeah, they're doing the opposite in China and defending China, by the way, which is bizarre. All of a sudden, everybody trusts China. Well, when did that start?
Then you can't call it the China virus. Well, it came from China.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the Spanish influenza?
Yeah, but I'm saying, it didn't come from somebody eating a fucking undercooked bat.
Yeah, well, and that's why I cook my bats so well when I eat them, because I'm always careful.
That's not where it came from.
Listen,
this is
I'm not judging.
Bioengineered weapon for population control. Period.
Hold on, go ahead, Rich.
I'm just saying, I'm not. We can't judge. Pastor Kevin. I mean, you don't know if they was eating a bat. Maybe they was doing some things with the bats. I'm just saying it could have been an species thing. I'm just throwing it out there.
You never know.
Listen,
some people dig bats.
You saw Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom. They eat monkey brains over there. I mean, come on.
That'll never be me, by the way. I'm not even a huge fan of sushi.
What was it? They're fucking gonna sacrifice the heart and shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come on.
Listen, I won't even eat anything out of the Pacific, like not even tuna fish. Like let's not forget about the 4 nuclear power plants that just went down in Japan a couple years ago. And then Hawaii's like, oh damn, our coral reefs are fading. I don't understand why. So I'm like,
because there's nuclear fucking fallout leaking into the seas.
When I was a kid, I remember people swimming in the water off Staten Island, and there was like garbage floating back up on the beach while they're out there, and it's.
And that's why your immune system is so good, Kevin.
Yeah, and I was a plumber for 25 years, so.
So you You were literally
Anybody who swam in the Hudson in the 80s is immune to this shit.
Yeah, anybody who's swimming in the Hudson River up by us, like came out with an ear infection. That was about it. Like, you know, nothing was falling off yet.
Not yet.
They lied about, you know, we were swimming in that shit, and Indian Point was leaking for over like 30 years.
Yeah.
And they were like, "No, that's cool. You can fish. You can eat out of there. You can jump in." Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, that is that crony capitalism that you were talking about, and politicians looking the other way when it's a deep pocket that has that is causing the problem. That gets on my nerves.
Right. So, are you guys gonna be out for a while, or?
Yeah, we'll wrap it up here pretty soon. In fact, I'll let you go because we'll see if we can't take another caller. But I appreciate you calling in, Rich. That's very cool.
Thanks, Kevin. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, cousin Jeremy. Hey, doing a spot. Thank you so much.
All right, God bless, man. We'll talk to you.
All right, thank you for your time. Later.
All right, see you. All right, that was pretty cool, Jeremy. Now we got the phone lines open if anybody else wants to call in, and it is who is it? Blooded the Brave. I'm hoping he calls in.
Sir.
That's your boy too, right? And we had two people calling in, one from Indiana or an Indiana number, but somehow they got all on top of each other. But even this soundboard has a computer in it, so it gets a little ugly sometimes. Here he is. Hold on. Hey, Indiana, you're live on the Godlogic Project. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, cool, sweet. Thank you for being on. What's your name, if you'd like to give it? And how you doing tonight? What do you think of what we're talking about?
I'm Blooded the Brave. I called in.
Oh, yeah, I see you on the comments.
Yes. How are you guys doing? It's a great show. I love your show. It's great.
Thank you. We're having some fun tonight. I'll talk about just about anything on this show. So you
got a great setup there.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a pretty cool studio, and we're about to have air conditioning the next few days. Then I can, when this pandemic's over, I can have Jeremy back. He wouldn't come back because it was so hot.
Is he close by?
Where are you? St. Pete?
Actually, now I'm in Lakeland.
Lakeland, so he's pretty far away from me. I'm in Holidays.
Well, I mean, what are we, an hour and a half?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Not terrible.
Not bad. I used to live in Tampa.
Yeah, so that's toward Lakeland's closer. Yeah. I'm north of Tarpon Springs and south of Newport Richey, kind of on US 19. I'm in Holiday, so nobody stops in Holiday. Holiday is the town you drive through between Tarpon Springs and Newport Richey.
That's cool. That's cool. That is cool.
Unless you need drugs.
For real.
So what do you think about all this?
Well, I personally know about everything that you guys were talking about, but I have had to face some of these things, firsthand before. Mm-hmm. So like I'm not shocked by anything they do. I'm not shocked by the news. I'm not shocked by anything. And my big thing was to just remain, basically not see them because they don't exist. That's where they get their power in the first place. Like, it's just like that scene from The Matrix, Once you give them no more power, their bullets don't hit you. Yeah. So I have been working, thankfully, I'm in the farming community in Indiana, and we deliver organic produce to people's houses.
Oh, that's good.
So thankfully with work and everything, I've just been trying to, I keep my finger on the pulse of everything that's going on, but I'm not giving them any of my power. That's my big thing in the music, the message in my music.
Right.
Is don't give them any
Kevin, I told you about. You know what I mean? Bro, I already explained who you were, like what the message you come out with. You know what I mean? That's why you and I, A1 Day One, connected on Instagram. Right. We ain't never met, but
we're brothers.
Well, send Jeremy the link, and he can send it to me, and I'll put it in the description for the video. People can hear your music as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. I've been doing this for about 20 years. I was rapping straight out of high school, and then 9/11 happened, and after 9/11, me and my buddies all pretty much knew what time it was, and we were already kind of talking about liberty.
That was the culmination. Like, what? Huh?
Yeah.
If anybody was a free thinker already, before that, anybody that questioned anything, like when that shit hit, that was just that was it. That was the catalyst that just drove us all up into the areas that we've gone down the rabbit hole.
that's the part that stinks about what's going on now, is to see people fall for the false sense of security again.
Yeah.
I mean, because we can never truly be kept safe. And I really like the fact that you're a pastor, because people can catch on to a lot of the things I put in my music, but I am a big, staunch supporter of spiritualism and a big student of all religions, and Christ speaks to me big time, the whole message of Christ and true freedom and helping others. And I think that this is all a mind control operation to take away from our true beauty and an attack on nature, which is God, and our ties to nature, which is God, because they don't want us to go outside. And nature is where we actually help our immune system. And I've been fighting a battle for my health for 4 years, and everybody wants to go to bed at night, you know, fearing for a virus. Well, welcome to most people's reality who are already suffering.
Yeah, yeah, and that is
what you learn when you're going through that, though, is to walk through the fear, and you know that you are protected. God is your shield, and He will protect you, and to not give into the fear, because it does not help your immune system at all.
No.
When you're sick and you're afraid of you know,
and
not waking up in the morning.
It opens the door to the enemy. I've been telling people, I've been in my message, I've been saying a lot lately, you got to ask yourself, stop asking yourself why this is happening to me, and start asking yourself, why is this happening for me? How do I learn from this? How do I grow out of this?
Let's go. I love it.
Because there's a blessing. There's been a blessing, and Jeremy will tell you, we've known each other a long time. I've been through some hard times, but there's been a blessing in every single trial or tribulation that I've gone through. And one of those blessings is an 11-year-old boy I've been raising by myself for 8 years, and I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, at the time, it was scared the heck out of me 8 years ago. You know.
That's right. That's right. That's awesome that you tell people that message, because it's scary and it stinks and it's true, and you can't ever know what someone else is going through. But if they're living in fear, which is what they are projecting on all of humanity right now, it's time for everyone like us to stand up and remind people they have nothing to be afraid of. Go forth and live your life. If you're living in fear, you're not living at all.
Yeah.
Which is one of my lyrics to one of my songs. Living in fear ain't living at all.
No.
And we got to live. We have to live. We have to go forward. That's the only way through this, is forward.
There's a quote that says, every man dies, but not every man truly lives. And that is, that's a lesson I took most of my adult life to learn. And I can tell you now, the last few years, this version of Kevin is the easiest version of Kevin I ever had to be in my life, you know. It just, I ceased fighting everybody and everything, and I consider myself in this world, not of this world, and I'm essentially a third-party observer to the things that are going on right now. Not that I don't care about it and I won't be affected by it, but I know where my faith lies, where I derive my self-worth from, rather than the world or what people think of me. I derive it from my relationship with my Creator, and there's a piece in that is hard to understand for people that aren't spiritually focused, you know, or don't believe in the supernatural.
Yeah. You are the calm in the middle of the storm, because you know that you are protected and you are part of something special.
Yeah, and
they want to make us all feel insignificant and like we're not special, but we are. And then the other part is they want to act like they care about us and they want to protect us and keep us healthy, when they are the cause of most of humanity's worst atrocities.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear them get up and talk about how they're going to keep me safe, because that's a lie.
Yeah.
I don't need your safety.
Safe.
I'll keep myself safe.
Yeah.
I'll keep myself and my mind safe. I don't need your safety.
Yeah. Why else would they want to take your guns away and make you feel more vulnerable? I see this thing as a push to globalism. If I'm gonna go down 100%. That rabbit hole, I see them. I think the left wing of our political system is going to try to parlay this into not just getting Trump, which is they've been obsessed with, but I think they want a European Union for the whole world, kind of, if that makes sense.
100%. Like that's exactly what is going into is a one world government, one world economy, one world religion. That's exactly what we're looking at. Like there's no other ways to get out of this. There's no ways to get out of this economic collapse.
Only a global solution will fix a global problem. I'm afraid that's what they're going to try to play.
Great quote.
You know.
Great quote. And a bunch of quacks and people that they call conspiracy theorists for years and that they mock, and even our friends mock, like Alex Jones. Well, you know what? In 2006 and 7, he was telling you that the Chinese model and that they had social credit scores coming.
Yeah.
They had all this population control coming, and he was saying it was going to come to the whole world. And that's basically what they want to do. The communist CCP
the
model.
same with them, and the same with Bill Gates.
You know what's crazy is right before this, what was going on was Hong Kong. And Hong Kong was almost an epicenter, a cry back to the world of tears of liberty. And people were starting to feel it in their hearts again. About freedom for the whole world, for everyone. It felt like it was almost the 80s and how the
Berlin
countries
Wall.
were. Yeah, it felt like that.
Yeah.
And then this happened. Their enemy, the CCP, does this, which I really can't. People would just have totally forgot about Hong Kong, China, and then this virus. They totally forgot about it.
It is.
I think they all go together.
There's so many, and we're going to wrap up the show here in a little bit. And I thank you for calling in. You've been a great guest. Both guests have been call-ins have been great. But it seems to me there's so much that doesn't make sense that somebody like me that is. I try to be. For a pastor, I'm not super emotional. I'm more logical, which is a strange place to be for a pastor, right? But to me, there was right from the jump street. There's stuff that didn't add up to me as I tried to think about these things logically, and so it lends itself to so many opportunities to worry about these things. And the longer this thing goes on, the less tolerant people are going to be of this living situation. They've got to figure out how to at least turn the economy on and get some kind of normalcy back to things, or they're going to have, I'm afraid, civil unrest.
Yeah, but civil unrest is what we need.
Yeah, that sounds like Jeremy right there.
That's what we need, bro. All the people that are coming up at me with videos and all these things that, I'm like, great, awesome. Finally, you're fucking listening.
Yeah.
But is it too late now? That's the real issue. Where are we now? That
you always remember that they fear us and we can't be stopped.
Right, exactly right.
No, we outnumber them, and it's not going to be our troops. It's not going to be our fucking guys going at it with us. It's going to be UN troops. It's going to be
these insane levels of control prove just how powerful we are and how much they fear us.
Yeah, and if you consider there's 350 million guns and 75 million gun owners, we've had trouble in Afghanistan and Iraq and Syria and everywhere else. I don't see our troops, even if they're ordered to, opening fire on Americans. I don't see it happen.
What did I just say?
The UN people.
It's not going to. It's going to be the UN troops that come in and try and put us in our homes and try to put us.
They won't be able to. They won't be able to.
Such.
Yeah. So
when there's civil unrest that starts, it's not going to be the oath keepers that the military guys, all the vets that I know that have come back and realized the bullshit that we were over there for, and what the humble, legitimate reasons that they thought they were going to fight for, but then come back scarred and fucked up and maimed and whatever, mentally or physically, come back and realize that's got nothing to do with what we were there for.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give Blooded the Brave a final thought, and then we're gonna wrap the show up. I do appreciate everybody being on the show and calling in, but Blooded, if you're gonna give somebody elevator advice, right? If you're gonna give them your elevator speech on what they should be feeling or thinking right now, give them a couple minutes of what would bring people peace in a situation like this. That sounds like your goal to me.
What would help them with peace in a situation like this is to remember who they are. And if they don't know who they are, to go within and be concerned about yourself be concerned about your health and your happiness, and how you do that is to be grateful for everything you have, to count your blessings, to think of others who are less fortunate and wish and help them as much as you can. And the only way we can do that is by taking care of ourselves first.
Yeah.
And the way you take care of yourselves is to go back to nature, get your vitamin D. We are all vitamin D deficient. Stand outside as much as you can and get the sunshine. The spring and summer is coming. Nature can't be stopped. Drink water and take as less sugar into your body as possible, and you will feel better. And worry about that. And
okay,
people
but
smile and feel good.
That's all fucking good and well, and that's great, bro. But what do you? I've heard your music. I know what you know, and I know that you go both angles. I know you do.
Yeah. Well, the other part is it's all a
but
trap.
at the other hand, is
hold on. Let him finish his thought, Jeremy. Then I'll get to you, buddy. Hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Blooded.
It's all a trap. So everything that is out there is a trap for you to walk into, especially when it's presented by someone who rules over you by force, which is the government, any form and all forms of government. They are not your friend. They have never been your friend, and they never will be. You must give them none of your power or energy. That's what I'm saying about being happy.
Yeah,
you gotta walk away from them, the news, turn them off. Stay tuned into what's going on by listening to shows like this and checking the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about unplugging from all of them and tuning into yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I appreciate
your
thoughts, and I appreciate you calling in. I'm gonna let you go now, Blooded. But thank you very much. That was some good input. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right, see ya.
Thanks for watching, bro. All right, Jeremy, we're at the 1.5 hour mark. It looks like. So give me your
another half or what?
Yeah. Well, give me your elevator speech. What do you think? If you were going to warn somebody that didn't know what was going on in a few minutes? What would you say to help prepare them for what you think's coming ahead? And can we get Shannon more on the camera? I'm tired of looking at you. I'd rather see Shannon if that's possible.
Hey.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you, Kev?
I'm wonderful. So go ahead, Jeremy. What would you tell somebody?
This shit ain't gonna end up nothing but a new revolution.
Yeah.
That's the only way it can end in our favor.
I disagree, but it's
well, then you're gonna have to share your thoughts too, because I think that that America is so different and so unique that what works easily in other countries in terms of freedom and liberty won't work very easily here. So and that's why they try to attack your First and Second Amendments, because it's so important that you are.
I definitely agree with that. I don't think it's going to be quite as
dramatic
as he thinks it is. I mean, maybe eventually, but I don't think that we're going to see it in our life. I worry for my daughter. I worry for
Did any of us think that we're going to see this?
Hold on.
I worry for what she's going to grow up with and what she's going to have and the opportunities she's going to have. But I don't think it's going to be quite as catastrophic. I think that we've been through something like this before.
So no,
not quite this bad, but we have been through this, and I think as a society and as Americans, and if we're all, not that I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but I think that as long as I agree with a lot of what he says, but I think as long as we, as people just keep being kind and loving to each other, and we, try to, no, shush, for a second, no. I'm just saying that this is a
they
terrible.
They tried that shit in the 60s. It didn't work.
Shush up. So I'm saying in a terrible time like this, I will say, just like 9/11, it is. I'm just going to bring a little positivity to it because
we could use it. We could use it at this point.
Okay. I just feel like I have seen so many people helping each other, and I think almost like 9/11, like people just came together, and there were a lot of it was like the one time that you really saw people of all cultures and all races just really come together as people. And I there's one part of it, the government part of it, that I don't know too much about, but I do feel like some people I've talked to, a lot of people I've talked to, I think that we're just all kind of coming together with this, and maybe we'll get out of it, you know, a little bit stronger and a little bit kinder to each other.
I hope for that, and in fact, of course, I pray for that because.
I do, and I know
that's
I
a beautiful thought.
Politically, that's different. I understand.
Well, I'm going to give Jeremy. I'm going to give Jeremy his closing thoughts now, because that little hippie love fest we just had almost gave him cardiac arrest. Look at him.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He almost had a freaking stroke.
Go ahead.
You know,
I'm just trying.
Would I love if we all just come together and
play guitar?
I'm talking as a people, not as a government.
I'm talking about what
I think
the reality of it is, and if we don't see something as a people of what's going on, and like I said, there's so many people coming out of the woodworks that are talking about so many different things, whether it be 5G. We didn't even go into half of the fucking conspiracy shit. You know, granted, yeah, you got 5G. 5G is microwaving us. Do I plot that off as all the corona shit? No, by far, no. But you have they're microwaving us at the same time. They're manipulating the weather. There's just so much shit going on and being thrown at us all at one time that there's no peaceful resolution to this. Sorry.
In other places, but I think patriots, people like you and me that embrace freedom, right? And even what Shannon said, that we tend to come together and work together. I think that they might be vastly underestimating our commitment to our freedoms. And this experiment, this 244-year-old experiment that we're having now, almost 244 years.
Thank you for saying that too, because that's exactly what we are.
Yeah,
to an extent.
And it is something that you're not going to be able to unring the bell of freedom. And you know what I mean? Now that we've tasted it in a truer sense than anybody else has ever tasted it, at least, it's not going to be so easy to take it away from people like us. So I think in America, the odds of civil unrest and civil disobedience and even an armed uprising a lot stronger here, a lot more likely here than it's going to be in Europe, where they kind of comply a little bit more. They don't have some of the freedoms that we have, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You have, again, this is something we covered in our first podcast. And I said, in World War II, the general of the Japanese army said, you will not invade America.
Yeah.
Behind every blade of grass is
a gun,
a rifle.
Yeah.
And he wasn't talking about the military.
And
He's
that
talking
is
about the U.S. population.
And that makes us so different.
Yes, exactly. But at the same time, when the fuck are we going to say enough is enough?
I think that we're going to close with that thought. I think that moment is coming. I appreciate you guys for being on the show. Shannon, it's good to see you. I still haven't seen the baby. I love you, brother. And I'm going to sign off the show, and then we'll see how the show does. And we got to do this again. When this is over, we got to have you guys in the studio. This is a pretty cool studio I built here.
I know it is.
I have a few ideas I want to do with you. You're doing great. You're doing wonderful.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing here.
You're wonderful. We're both wonderful. Jeremy's so grumpy. All right, I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
You, brother.
I love you.
All right, be good, man. Be safe.
Bye.
All right, peace.
All right, so that's our show for tonight, and that is Jeremy Decker. He's been thinking about this stuff and considering this stuff for a long time. I got to say, in this environment, it's hard to disagree with some of the stuff he says. Of course, I don't go along with. That seems to be with everybody I ever meet. But I can tell you that as a pastor, for me to argue, and I've had to, people have asked me if this seems like a biblical instance, if this is the beginning of the end times. It's hard to say it's not. We've got so much going on in the world that we don't know the time or the hour, but we certainly know the season, and it seems like we're in that season. I appreciate you guys for watching the show. This was kind of one we put together quick just to have some fun, and I appreciate you guys that watched. Please subscribe, share it, anything you see of ours on social media, and if by the way,
No, Arian did.
She did? She said.
No.
If by the way you have any questions, there's anything I can do to help you, godlogicproject.com. You could message me there. You got an interesting story. You got an interesting ministry. Are you in recovery? We're a big recovery channel. If you've got a story we can tell that maybe reach out and help some people with it, email me, and maybe we'll build a show around it. Again, it's godlogicproject.com. You can message me there. If you have a family member, a loved one, or yourself struggling with addiction, hit me up at godlogicproject.com. I have resources I can help. I've been in this industry a long time. And that's it. That's our show. Please subscribe, share our social media, and if no one told you they love you today, God loves you, and so do I. Receive that. Be blessed, and we'll speak soon. Thank you.